Hey, it's Dr. Schmidt. So I wanted to talk about meat versus fasting. And there's a statement that I learned from Amber O'Hearn. She set up the Carnivore Conference. And this is, I think it was March 10th. So it was 5 months ago, if 6 months ago. And the comment that she said was the reason why fasting works is because it mimics the carnivore diet. And I thought about that for a few months. I even posted that on Twitter months later, and it's something that makes a lot of sense. And so let's explore this a little bit. Then I'm going to talk about micronutrients. But so when you have when you're going on a fast, you're lowering insulin, you're lowering blood sugar, you're raising ketones, you're raising glucagon, you're having all these changes occur, and that includes autophagy. So cell death, and then new cells are made from the old cells. From the nutrients get unlocked. When you're in ketosis, you get fat fluid, meaning the fat is leaving your organs and leaving your arteries and becoming fuel. It's mobilizing nutrients, minerals get unlocked, vitamins get unlocked, especially the fat soluble vitamins. So you've heard of, when you take a fat soluble vitamin, let's say vitamin D or vitamin E, you take it with fat. It's because it works better. So if your body is stuck in sugar burning mode, then things get sticky. The nutrients get locked in, minerals aren't used, vitamins aren't used, insulin goes high. And it's pretty obvious, like this is what is modern chronic disease. It's just too many carbs, and then you're not in ketosis. And there's a lot of people eating a low carb diet, but they're not in ketosis. And so they're not actually getting any of the benefit from being in ketosis. So you can get in ketosis by not eating food. So I just went to Dr. Berg's Keto Summit seminar this past weekend. There were 700 people there, and there were many speakers. And I like to go to seminars, and I hear all the time people on stage say, "Don't eat. If you want to get younger, don't eat. If you want to get rid of diabetes, don't eat." I hear that message over and over again. But, if you take that to the nth degree, then you're not eating. So what do you do when you eat? You end up eating low carb. You just eat low carb vegetables. And so, but Dr. Berg did hit on that, and he answered it correctly. And he listed off a bunch of different meats and different animal products that are very healthy and supply micronutrients. So, of course, there's vegetables that supply micronutrients too, but they don't have the quantities. Plus, vegetables have anti-nutrients that can prevent the absorption of other nutrients. So, so Dr. Berg, of all the speakers, he's the only one that sat, up there with his slides, and he's showing, here's this nutrient deficiency that occurs commonly, like vitamin A, and then here's the foods, and it was, whatever meat it was with the fat, animal protein. So when I look at micronutrients now, as a culture, we think that, well, we have to eat vegetables for that. We have to get plants that grow from the ground because those plants have roots and they're pulling up minerals, especially alfalfa has really deep roots and it pulls up minerals. And that's the minerals, those are the micronutrients that we're looking for, plus the aspects of the plants that make it green, chlorophyll, and other phytochemicals that have various maybe defense mechanisms, or why a flower smells the way it does. All those secondary metabolites, those are micronutrients. And the point here is you can get a ton of micronutrients from eating liver and meat. And so let me go into a little bit about the secondary metabolites. So you have, I've mentioned this in several other videos, but you can have primary metabolites are what the plant is made out of. So you have the stems and the roots, you have fiber, carbohydrate, they have oil, and that's what is the plant. The secondary metabolites are chemicals that the plant makes in order to attract pollinators or to create a defense smell or a defense chemical like poison ivy. So, and there's how many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of different phytochemicals that we use as medicine. So plants are the medicine, and the food is the meat. Our bodies are made out of meat. So when people tell me now, like they're not in ketosis, let's say I have a patient who's been with me for a few months, they're still kind of new, trying to get into ketosis. They're still on some medications like metformin or a statin drug, which are manipulating the numbers and it makes them look healthy, but they're not. And they're saying, well, I eat tomatoes and it's summertime, so I've been eating fruit. I love fruit. It's good for me. But yet they're still diabetic and their lipids are still off. And then there's supplements which help get rid of, heart pain and muscle cramping and all that stuff all those supplements are good, but still you have to get to the core. And so getting into ketosis is vital for that, to normalize the sugars and the lipids and all that. But the point is, don't be afraid of meat. And I think that most speakers at the seminars I've been to, except for the Carnivore Conference, most speakers are afraid to tell the audience, eat more meat, double your meat intake. Now, when it comes to you eating more meat, the question is, how much does your body handle right now? Do you still have to have plants for the magnesium? Do you still need the fiber from the plants? Can you have, more meat 6 months from now than you can next week? Like you can develop your digestive ability, your stomach capacity to have more meat and to get more benefit from eating meat. So those are my thoughts on meat versus fasting. It's like, well, and especially if you eat, I've said this before, you've heard me say it before, if you eat a ton of meat in one meal, then you can go 6 hours, 10 hours without thinking about your next meal. There's the fasting. And you get autophagy. There's a lot of people talking about autophagy. The best way to get autophagy is from exercise. So as you eat more meat, you get stronger, you feel healthier, you want to go exercise. People ask me, what should I be doing for exercise? And I say, what do you want to do? And they say, nothing. I feel like crap. Okay, don't exercise. Not yet. Fix your diet up, get that straightened up, and then let your body tell you when you're ready to exercise, because you'll be like wanting to get off the couch and move your legs or move your arms or something like that. So I want to tell you a thought I had when people talk to me about, well, I'm eating fruit because it's summertime, or I'm eating cherry tomatoes because I grew them in my garden. It's almost like these plants take up space in your body and you're not getting as much nutrition as you can because you're filling it up with fiber and maybe some non-digestible plant parts and plants that have like anti-nutrients in them. Everybody's different, like if you need to eat a big salad every day, go for it. But I just want to I want you to think about, I see these people that eat a ton of plants and they're just not getting the nutrition that their body needs. And the plants take up space in the stomach that is better used by eating meat. It's kind of like, even in chiropractic school, I had a friend tell me that when people are drinking pop, it's preventing them from drinking things that are healthy, like water. It's like negative space. They're filling their body up with something that could be replaced with something better. Okay. So I want to encourage other speakers to talk more about meat. There's no harm in eating meat. Nobody's ever died from it. It doesn't cause any chronic disease. And everybody else in all of academia and medicine will argue against that, but there is no science, zero science to show that meat causes cancer or heart disease or diabetes. The science that they use is actually a survey. It's a poll, P-O-L-L. It's opinion. It's total opinion. And then one more message is that, let me show you this. I've shown you this before, but I'm going to go over this real quickly on the wall. Those are the 4 steps of lactic acidosis. You have to fix 4 things to fix the downward spiral of poor health this is how we die from chronic disease. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fix 4 things. Actually, the 5th one would be hydrogen. But when I first made this, I put the red font down and I said, well, I'm going to carry the microphone. I got the microphone. I put the red font down and I said, ketosis stops our cells from burning sugar. It's good. Oxygen therapy gets the acid out of the muscles and out of the body. That's good. Juicing vegetables. This is my print from a year ago. Juicing vegetables cleans up the blood. It's good. And then eating liver, I got supplements with liver in them. And then cleaning the body, detoxing, fixing the mold out of the body. It's all good. But when I looked at this a few months later, maybe 6 months later, I realized if you just eat meat, you fix this part, you get into ketosis. If you just eat red meat, you fix this part, you get the acid out because myoglobin feeds the muscle oxygen and iron, oxygen to combine with hydrogen to get to form water to clean the muscles of acid. If you just eat red meat, you're not filling your body up with waste products, and it's cleansing. Eating meat is very cleansing for the immune system. And then it feeds the liver. Have some liver with your red meat. So there, you fixed all of this just with red meat alone. And now you got to address mold differently. So the diet doesn't fix everything. And I had a discussion with somebody today, I think it was today or yesterday, and they're asking me about various other detoxification practices. There's like coffee enemas, and there's detox patches you put on your feet. And there's a lot of things you can do for detoxing, and that's a different subject than fixing the diet. There are people with excellent diets, but they're so toxic, they need to clean themselves out. People with excellent diets, but they're so filled with mold, you got to kill the mold and clean that out. So diet doesn't fix everything, but it's the easiest thing you can control, and you have to eat anyways. So pick the right foods and start there, and then add supplements in to address whatever else you need to address. I want to end there with that subject, and I'm going to post this video, and I need you to tell me what future topics you want me to talk about on my channel, on my YouTube channel. So YouTube is deleting subscribers off my channel. Can you believe it? My office manager, she's been with me 6 years. Of course, she subscribed from day one. 2 weeks ago, she had to resubscribe to my channel. So YouTube is taking subscribers away from me. And my top associate doctor, who's been with me 11 years, my Carrie Credit, she also had to resubscribe in the last few years. So it's a little disheartening to be working with a platform like YouTube and for them to attack and unsubscribe people, and I have to put up with this. It's crazy. It's unbelievably crazy. But anyways, so it's a little disheartening, but I need to get rejuvenated here, and I need your feedback. I want you to tell me below what you want me to talk about, and I can create some more videos about that. Okay, I'm done with that. So it's been 13 minutes. I'm going to answer some questions here now. So I'm reading this right next to the screen here. And if you have a question, please post it. Okay. I don't know what we got here. Are school teachers qualified to teach nutrition to children, or do they just deliver a nutrition education program written by dietitians trained by industry? I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm actually going to speak in Ann Arbor at community high school in a few weeks. And this school had a vegan speaker to the students, and the person did not answer any questions about ketosis or meat, would not even answer any questions about it. And the students were pretty upset. So the teachers did a Google search and found me and invited me to speak there. So that'll be fun. And I have an hour for 2 different classes. And I promise I'll be nice. Yeah, Georgia Eid and Zoe Harcombe are mentioned in these comments. Those are 2 of my favorites for sure. And Zoe helped, and Georgia, I think they both helped Tim Noakes, and so did Nina Teicholz, help Tim Noakes in South Africa defend his license. And he was accused of saying incorrect things to a mom who was weaning her kid away from breast milk onto food. And he said to go to a low carb diet. And then the dietitian read that and then turned him in, and he spent $1 million in 4 years, I think, of his life to defend his license. and everybody shunned him. All of his colleagues, his other professors. He only had one person on his side, and that was his wife. And he said that he was ready to commit suicide if it not had been for his wife. But he survived that, and his license was successfully defended. And this was just like last summer when it was done. So there's no person on the planet that can say that a low carb diet is dangerous, because it's been defended for 4 years by Tim Noakes. It also happened with Dr. Gary Fettke from New Zealand. He did the same thing. Okay. What methods do you use to cleanse mold from your body? Just my favorite. Well, infrared sauna. You want to do one particular sauna is called Therasage, and they have full spectrum infrared. So it's not just far infrared. It's not just near infrared. It's full spectrum. And just get in there, turn it on, jump in. You don't have to wait for it to heat up. You jump in, you're starting to sweat in 15, 20 minutes, and you get out. I do that like once a week. I've been doing it less this summer because I've been outside and I can sweat outside. And then Biotoxin Binder is a supplement from Cellcore Biosciences. That's been my go-to right now. That's for cleansing the mold out. You also want to kill it. There's a lot of options for killing the mold. What causes hair loss? I just had a woman, we were fixing her thyroid and her eyebrows are growing back. There's a lot of causes for hair loss. When I moved into a moldy building, I got hair loss within 6 months. So that was 13 years ago. You can have mold, sitting in your scalp, causing hair loss, affecting your whole body too. So mold, bad thyroid, protein deficiency, not eating enough meat. There's, parasites. I have a woman, this is a fascinating story. She's been with me a year and a half, and she was on a detox program with another holistic doctor. And it was for metals. And within a few weeks, like 6 weeks, her hair was falling out in clumps, big clumps. And so she quit that care. She came to me. I don't know how they found me. And I found parasites. And I put her on Para 1 and Para 2 and a few other supplements. And she started eliminating worms every single time she went to the bathroom, multiple worms. This is a year and a half ago. And now she only gets rid of worms about once a week or 3 times a week. But it took about 6 months, and now her hair, well, at a year's point, she doesn't wear a hat, she doesn't wear a wig, her hair looks fantastic. So you can have fungus, parasites, bad thyroid, causing hair loss. It's just tissue. It's just another version of tissue. You can have, just think of any kind of tissue breaking down, bone tissue, right? That's osteoporosis. And skin tissue, that would be like a dermatitis or a thinning of the skin. The breakdown of muscle tissue, right? So now you have a weak muscle, AFib, nervous system tissue breakdown. You get neuropathy, you get, heart symptoms like that. So that's a fascinating answer, is that, what causes any chronic disease? It's toxins, pathogens, and excess sugar metabolism. Now, I want to add this. I just saw this on Twitter, a survey, not a survey, a trial showing vegetable oils, now known as seed oils, are worse for you regarding diabetes than sugar. So the inflammatory seed oils damage the cell membranes, and then the insulin can't go to the cells and regulate sugar levels and glucose levels in the body. So let me say that again. The seed oils are worse for you than sugar when it comes to diabetes. And then therefore diabetes causing heart disease. So we've all known for a couple decades now that the sugar is the worst thing. But then over the last few years, myself and other people are thinking and saying, well, a very close second would be the seed oils. And now we have to say that the seed oils are worse, and then the sugar is second. So seed oils, just imagine putting together a nice salad and you put the worst thing possible on top, is the Italian salad dressing or something like that, the canola oil, the soybean oil, sesame seed oil. Those seed oils are bad, peanut oil. Okay. Gary Fettke's from Tasmania, right? Looking forward to seeing your talk at the school. I'm not going to talk. Oh, I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else. Okay. Ask me another question. I'm 75 years old. My joints are always hurting when I move exercise. What am I doing wrong? It has to do with your diet. So what are you eating that's inflammatory to your diet? Start with the seed oils and the sugars, and those are the two primary ones. And of course, junk food is made out of seed oils, sugar, added salt. That's the definition of junk food. And then after you get that out of your diet, you have to look at the plants that you're eating, because chances are it's not the meat causing inflammation of your joints. So what are the plants that you're eating, and start experimenting. So you eat like green peppers, eat like one green pepper alone, and then see what happens with your joints. Another day eat a cucumber, another day eat tomatoes, eat a bunch of tomatoes, and just pay attention to what happens with your joints, and see if it's diet related. Now, again, it could be parasites, it could be fungus. I just have a patient, I talked to her a month ago for the first time, recommended some supplements, and then I talked to her this week, and her joints are like 60% better. Now, her diet's been good this whole time. And so what is it that she was missing? It had to do with, I forgot if it was Lyme or whatever. It was an infection. And I can't use the word infection because that's not a legal statement. But her body was being overrun by some organism. So we addressed that with supplements correctly, and now her joints are feeling much better. So there's a lot of different causes for joint pain. It could be toxicity, it could be pathogens, it could be diet, excess sugar metabolism, or something else. All right. Can adding fish into my diet create a better balance and make me feel better? Possibly. I was thinking I'm iodine deficient. That could be true too. So when people are not feeling so good, the first question always is, what can I add? What supplement can I add? What food can I add? Really, the first question should be, what should I take away? What am I doing now that's causing this? Because if you went on a 5-day fast, you would feel better. You took everything away, you would probably feel better. So just think that way first. What should I take away? And then as you take things away, you're adding in other things. So adding, you're taking away whatever, let's say salted pork, I don't know. And then you add in fish. So it's a better quality meat right there. Or you take away coffee and you add in some higher, like let's say green tea or some other caffeinated tea. I know people love caffeine. They love their coffee, but it's just exchanging. You take something out, you add something in. Did I ever tell you about coffee and myself? I don't know. I'm going to tell you right now. When I was a kid working on the family farm in the summertime, we would start at 6 a.m. and be done at 9 p.m. and running through the fields carrying irrigation pipes. And there was always a guy there that he'd show up first thing and make coffee for everybody. And I don't know how old I was, 11, maybe 13, I don't know. And I drank a cup of coffee. And then we went out to the fields, and I'm running with 4-inch irrigation pipe through the fields, and my stomach hurt. That's the last time I drank coffee. And my girlfriend loves coffee. A lot of people I know love coffee. And I say, hey, can I take a sip of that? And from my girlfriend, and I take a sip and I say, that's disgusting. I hand it back to her. And it's kind of a joke now, but yeah, I'm not a fan of coffee. So everybody's different. All right. Hey, Schmidt, do you think it's a must that men over 40 use amino acid supplements? No, I think it's a must that you eat meat. You have to eat more meat. If so, which one is good to go for? There's a good product called Platinum Plus. Yeah, there's one called Platinum Plus. Oh, and there's another one. We carry two. I can't remember what the other one is. But those are really good amino acids. Platinum Plus. And the other one, can't remember. They changed their name a couple years ago. Is it possible to reverse peripheral neuropathy? That's a tough one. So it says I do a lot of benfotiamine, right? B vitamin, B1 fat soluble is benfotiamine. Um, why do I have zero energy and feel tired and adrenal pressure when I eat only meat and fat? I'm going to answer that too, but this is for Jim D. So peripheral neuropathy is a tough one because it's many years in the making of too much sugar in the blood, not enough oxygen. The nerves start to die, and you have glycation, which means damage to the cells. Glycation of the arteries causes heart disease, of the eyes causes blindness. And so you want to reverse the diabetes, which is actually not that hard, but then you want to repair your body, which now you have to do work. And so nerves take like years to reverse. We're talking 3 years or 6 years. So is it possible? Yeah, it is possible. But it just takes forever and ever to do it. So start now and don't expect results by the end of the next week. You got to give it some time. Jim D, I was going to answer your question, the rest of your question. Oh, why do I have zero energy and feel thyroid and adrenal pressure when I eat only meat and fat? So there's a couple of things about that. So right now you have to increase your vegetables back up, get some carbs in there in your body. And you should have some salt. Now, I've had a lot of people, they feel much better by consuming the minerals that are in salt, especially Celtic sea salt. But then I've had some people not feel better by adding Celtic sea salt. So there's something else going on with your endocrine organs. And it could be thyroid dysfunction. It could be adrenal dysfunction. And that's where a blood test would come in. Or if you live next door to me, you could come in the office and I would do the muscle testing procedure and figure out like what really is going on. So you have organ dysfunction happening, something that's off. And that just takes some detective work and some lab work. And for people who are my patients, I'm going to tell you, we have the comprehensive bioscreen. It's $269. It's 85 tests with one blood draw and one urine sample. So it's a super awesome bargain and it's super informative. And we get a lot of information from the comprehensive bioscreen. Okay. What do you do with a person who is high stage hypertensive and is considering eating meat only, but needs to get sufficient amounts of potassium? Add in a whole bunch of potassium and just see how that goes. And now, but the question is what's causing the hypertension? So it could be like diabetes causing kidney dysfunction. Now the kidneys aren't working and now high blood pressure. Or it could be uncontrolled high blood pressure for 10 years. And now the kidneys are damaged from that. And now you're trying to reverse that. See, now we're getting into this is tough. The longer somebody has diabetes, the longer somebody has hypertension, the harder it is to get that under control. And, if you have somebody living in a moldy house for 20 years, it's like, man, you got to get a lot of work done right now. So, but yeah, I've had a lot of people, they go ketosis and their blood pressure normalizes in a few months or like 6 months. And it's nice. And that's great. But then other people, they got their bodies filled with mold or they got some organ dysfunction, kidney dysfunction, and they go into ketosis and their blood pressure doesn't come down. So again, that's more detective work that the holistic doctor needs to do to find out what's going on. Okay. Glycation is glucose stuck to proteins. Yeah. I've been looking into glaucoma because my mom has this, but wasn't told to lower her insulin. Right. So glaucoma, it's a collection of more proteins and garbage in the eyes. And in the same pathological process as calcification of the arteries, atherosclerosis, plaquing in the arteries. It's the same pathological process as the neuropathy in the feet, as the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's the same process. We just have to reverse engineer it. And so you're watching me right now because you're interested in your health and you're probably doing something right now for your health. But the vast majority of people aren't watching me and they're not doing anything for their health. And they're just going to the store, assuming that everything in the store is food. And so we got to get this message out to more people beyond our little circle here of this YouTube channel. And I don't know, I'm working on it. Okay. Hello, I'm almost 45 and my menstrual cycle has become heavier and longer due to anemia. What is the most absorbent source of iron? The best product for iron absorption is called Food from Standard Process. And when you look at the ingredients and the proprietary blend, it's absolutely fantastic. With all the foods that are in there, such as liver, I mean, there must be 24 different foods. And then one capsule has like 60% of the RDA for iron. So it's not even a lot of iron. It's like, 5 milligrams or something. Most of the time you get iron from a store, it's 25 milligrams and it's garbage. Okay, but I had a patient take a standard iron supplement and I think he got it from his medical doctor. He had anemia and a year goes by and his blood is the same. He still has anemia. And then I put him on Food, 1 pill a day, or maybe it was 2. And 3 months later, his anemia levels are it's normal. His blood is completely normal. So that's the best supplement is Food. And then you want to make sure that your diet is good and you have red meat too. All right. Getting off gluten changed me physically and mentally. That's right. Vlad Impaler. And then eating a more normal Homo sapiens diet, meaning the human diet, will make you even more positive physically and mentally. So getting off gluten is one good thing to do, and increasing your protein, you'll feel better and better. So what do you do with someone on keto for 4 years and now I have low blood pressure and low blood sugar? The low blood, I don't know if you're a male or female, but a lot of females have low blood pressure, and that's kind of standard for a lot of females. Maybe it's normal. Then the low blood sugar is fine if your ketones are up. So if you're in ketosis, like your ketones are 1 or 2 and your blood sugar is 65, it's fine because you're running off ketones. All right. How can we get old toxins out of lower abs, body fat put there as a child? DDT spraying. How to burn the body fat to release it. Yeah, ketosis is the foundation for detoxification. I'm down to 11% body fat, but lower abs are stubborn still. The lower ab, like the gut here, if you're 11% body fat everywhere, but you have a gut, that means you have some hormones that are off. Like cortisol could be too high. It could be estrogen, could be too high. So that's a hormonal imbalance. Now, what causes hormonal imbalance? Oftentimes it's toxicity. And in your question, you're talking about DDT. So how do you detox that? Well, there's standard detoxification programs that I use. One is from Systemic Formulas. The other one's from Cellcore Biosciences. But there's others on the market too. There's one from QuicksilverTesting.com, QuicksilverScientific.com, and Dr. Chris Shade. And that's the more expensive one. That's like $500 a month. But I know it works too. So the science of detoxification is known, and it's being applied successfully by many people. So if you fit into this category of I need to be detoxed, then you can just jump into a detox program and do it for a few months. If you have any roadblocks, if it becomes too difficult, switch over to another one, but try to make it work. So there's my answer. It's kind of a standard. There's detox programs created by different companies, which is super nice to have because that didn't exist 10 years ago, but we have it now. And it doesn't matter if it's chemicals or heavy metals or whatever. And I want to talk about hormones too, because I did a podcast with a doctor, and she was talking about hormones. And I said, well, there's 3 main causes of chronic disease: pathogens, toxins, and excess sugar. And she said, well, I can't believe it. There's like 50. And I was like, no, there's actually like 3. And she goes, well, what about hormones? She goes, I do hormones all the time. I didn't answer it correctly at the time, but of course you think of the best things later. But what I should have said at that moment was, well, hormones are tertiary to a cause, which is hormones are tertiary to organ dysfunction, which is secondary to a cause, which is primary. So you have a cause causing organ dysfunction, causing hormones to be off. I did say it to her. I did explain it to her. But anyways, you're asking me about hormones. What is the toxicity? What is is your diet excessively high in insulin? So if you have a high insulin diet, you can mess up all your hormones, your adrenal hormones, your sex hormones, all that stuff. All right, so make sure your diet's under control. All right. Hi, Kathy. Do you have thoughts on GCMAF and its application for viruses and cancer nagalase reduction? No, I don't. Is it a dangerous subject to comment on? Probably. So I have a friend, Dr. Tom Kabish in Ann Arbor. He was testing for GCMA nagalase, and he had to ship the sample to Germany and he'd get the results for his patients. But when the whole GCMAF nagalase thing came down and it got squashed, he stopped doing that. So I don't do it. I never did. Okay. Hypoglycemia. How to cure hypoglycemia? Mine gets so bad sometimes my vision starts to blur, or like sun shining in my eyes. Yeah, go into ketosis to fix your hypoglycemia. That's the solution for that. But let me talk about eye blurring. And okay, so right now I'm looking at my laptop and my screen. I'm reading over here, and our office went electronic. I think I mentioned this in a video, but we went electronic maybe 4 or 5 months ago. So now I'm looking at the screen kind of all day. And all of our treatment rooms over here, they have laptop computers, and I'm looking at these stupid little 7-point font. And I don't wear glasses. I haven't worn glasses my whole life. And I start looking at this laptop. I'm like, I can't read. What is it? Something's wrong here. So I took ginkgo biloba from MediHerb, called Ginkgo Forte, and I took bilberry and from MediHerb. And within 2 weeks, my vision was completely back to normal, and I don't have any trouble whatsoever reading these words anymore. So both of those increase the microcirculation of your eyes, especially the ginkgo, and the bilberry also has nutrients to feed your eyes. All right, so I just wanted to share that because it's a great success. When you dry fast okay, I'm gonna. Boy, abdominal aortic aneurysm. Have anything on that? Well, okay. So the artery is enlarged in a certain part, the abdominal aorta right here. It's too big in a certain section. That means the tissue is weakening. The tissue is soft. What strengthens that? Protein. What makes it weak? Carbs, grains, and sugar. So you want those arteries and all your tissues to be strong and supple at the same time. Like gymnasts and weightlifters and stuff, you don't want them to be stiff and stuck like this. Their muscles have to be stretched out at the same time. So same thing with inside the body, with the arteries, with the aortic aneurysm. So now there's supplements for that too. So, and ketosis is important. But my first go-to would be there's some supplements from Standard Process. They begin with the word cataplex. And it comes from, I'm not going to explain where it comes from, but it's Cataplex ACP, Cataplex C, and then there's Ceruta Plus. Those are my first three that I'd be looking at. I'm going to stop right there for that. What is the reason I get clogged nose every time after eating meat that are not histamines? So you eat meat, get a clogged nose, you got to think liver gallbladder dysfunction, especially gallbladder. So the fat that's in the meat is giving a little bit of stress here, and the liver can't process the blood, can't clean the blood out very well. And then that's a primary organ of detoxification, as is the kidneys. And now your body recruits the secondary organs of detoxification, lungs, sinuses, nose, skin. All right, so you eat meat, this get clogs up, this thing. So fix the liver, this will get fixed. fix the gallbladder, this will get fixed. My favorite supplement, I'm a big fan of Standard Process. Half of my revenue for supplements is from Standard Process. And we carry a ton of other companies. I carry, I don't know, 60 different companies. But Lifton from MediHerb, Standard Process is the distributor for MediHerb. Lifton, and then from Standard Process, AF Beta Food. And Systemic Formulas has a great product called LB Liver. I go on and on about these supplements. And a lot of them are available on Amazon. And I'm putting a link below. You can buy some of the supplements directly from me, even if you're not a patient. Okay, poor sleep on very low carbs due to low insulin not moving tryptophan in the brain to create serotonin and melatonin. Yeah, there's people who go low carb and they can't sleep very well. And so, but that needs to be worked out. So add in a whole bunch of minerals. Minerals are calming. The minerals that leave the body, okay, so you go into ketosis, insulin comes down. The first few days of weight loss is water. You pee out a bunch of water and the minerals go with it. Potassium, magnesium, sodium. And so, but the potassium and the magnesium are very calming. So you just peed out all these calming minerals. So we have powdered potassium, powdered magnesium, and then people scoop that in their water, they drink it, and then they start to calm down again. There's a solution for that. Well, you mentioned ketosis. Mr. Noah Owl says, you mentioned ketosis for hypoglycemia. What about the fear of fainting, dying from the lack of glucose sugar? So the glucose sugar goes down, the ketones go up. Your body's using this as fuel. Don't have any fear about that at all. There's no fear. Doing carnivore for psoriasis, any other tips? Yeah, get rid of parasites. I've had people with the worst psoriasis on their elbows go away because they're pooping out 3-foot tapeworms. But carnivore diet is the best diet for most skin conditions. Another subject to look at is kidneys. Okay, because you can have weird kidney problems causing weird skin problems. And one of my favorite supplements for that is called Arginex from Standard Process. Standard Process doesn't pay me any money to talk about them. Arginex, it's like a Christmas gift for people with bad skin. Okay, so it's been 42 minutes. I'm going to take off. I got to go to the gym. I'm going to do a live stream. My goal is a live stream every Wednesday night. Unless I have if I have a lecture on a Wednesday night, we'll live stream it too. But a live stream every Wednesday night. And then I'm going to do some regular videos like on Mondays and Fridays, depending on my schedule. But through the last 3 years, I've been able to do about 2 videos a week. Considering I have 5 jobs, 5 income streams, and 30 employees, I think that's pretty good. So, all right, thanks for watching and asking questions. And then any other questions, any other subjects you want me to talk about, please post at the very bottom of this video. Thank you.